do it with no hands.
Watch me twerk it for your man, cause he throw hella bands. He like it when I'm on the pole, I do it with no hands. I'm getting money, other bitches, they don't stand a chance. Twerk, twerk for them dollars, I don't want your man. You know it's Jenny gang, still winning, ain't shit changed. I'm in the muscle car, you see me in the fast lane. You know I do my thing 20 years.
Yo, Jenny gang, what it do? So I am back with another Jenny gang production. Y'all, I am so sleepy. Words cannot even explain how tired I am. So if you don't hit the like button for no other reason, hit it because I'm pushing myself to do this video. And when I say pushing myself, I mean because I'm tired. I want to make it very clear that I am somewhat passionate about this case because it's so freaking just underhanded and conniving that I just want to find this dude and just letting you guys know I have so many notes on it, so many. And I'm telling myself, Jenny, do this video tomorrow. But it's just that, I ain't gonna bore y'all too long. It's just that I've been wanting to do it all week, but I keep telling myself, you don't have enough information. And y'all, I could have just gave y'all the basic synopsis of this case and not worry about how some YouTubers cover every single basis. And y'all still would have been the same way I am about this case. So let's get into it. So the people we are talking about today are people from Denmark. Okay, so we're not even talking about Americans. The young lady that we'll be speaking about is a journalist named Kim Wall, or was. The idiot that we'll be talking about today is he was a semi-celebrity, and his name is Peter Madsen. So let me just give you guys a background of Peter Madsen. Peter Madsen is actually, you can't tell from this story, but he's a very smart guy. Not much common sense, but as far as like building things, understanding technology, he's a smart guy. I'll tell you why. So I believe it was 2008. He built one of the biggest submarines. It was the biggest one for a long time. And he kind of built it by hand. Y'all know he had a little bit of help from other smart people, but this was basically his submarine. He was already like into building things when he was a teenager. He actually built a rocket. It was successful. Not saying like space or anything, but it was successful and it actually worked. And, you know, I think his dad taught him how to do it. So needless to say, just like a lot of these criminals, this guy had it all going. But just like a lot of things we see, they're not, like you can't look at a person and say, oh, that person is this, or this person is that, or that person has a pure heart, that person has a terrible heart. You can't make that judgment about people, at least not in this day and age. So Mr. Peter, as smart as he was and as successful as he was, he had a dark, not addiction, he had a dark curiosity to putting pain and torture on women. Now, as far as we know, prior to this event that I'm speaking about, he hadn't acted on these desires. But you'll find out later on that he was on websites, porn websites, looking for decapitation, women in pain, women being tortured, women scared, things like that, that normal people just we're not interested in because that's creepy and just downright disgusting. So let's talk about this bright young lady, Kim Wall. Beautiful girl, very ambitious. Like I told y'all, this is Denmark. The place is called Copenhagen, is where it's called. Basically, Kim was Swedish. If that probably means more to you guys than the other cities or country I'm naming. But she was ambitious. She was a journalist. She had been to places like Uganda. She had been all over the world. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it was a lot of places that she'd been, but I really don't remember seeing anywhere in the United States, but I'm sure that she had, because the places that she went, they were just like kind of out there, in places that you get a lot of credit for going, you know, whether you're doing journalism or just doing a walkthrough. They were incredible places to me. And she was good at what she done. She had a boyfriend. As a matter of fact, before this tragedy happened, actually the day that it happened, she was supposed to be in attendance to her own going away party, because she was moving to Beijing, China with her boyfriend the very next day. If I'm not mistaken, I think her boyfriend may have been Chinese. I know he's also foreign, but not the same type of foreign as her. Just based on his name, I could tell that. So, sorry y'all, I had to lay down, but okay. Like I was telling y'all, Kim was in a relationship with a guy that I think is Chinese, but she was definitely moving to Beijing, China the next day. So, back to Peter, his ugly self. He built this submarine. Obviously, he had some sick fetishes and fantasies that he wanted to carry out, but he knew that it would be easier to carry these things out on a submarine, because guess what? You are lessening the chances of having a successful crime scene. The victim, whoever you decide to take down there in the water, who's going to hear them when they cry for help? You got plenty of time. No one's looking for you in the ocean. But Kim's boyfriend actually did come looking for her. She, like I told y'all, she's a journalist. So she was itching to do this interview with this local celebrity, Peter Madsen. I like to point out that whenever I do these stories, guys, I don't care if I make it humorous. I don't care if I make it entertaining. I don't care how I make it. I am never trying to belittle or, be rude to the victim. I'm never doing that. But I will say, ladies, we have to be careful about what we do with men, especially when we do it by ourselves. People have gotten so evil and so brazen that they'll do things to you whether you by yourself or not. So, when Peter initially set this interview up with Kim, she had reached out to him a few times. She hadn't got an answer back. She was going to take her boyfriend on the submarine with her, obviously probably for safety. But her boyfriend didn't go because, again, they were moving to Beijing the next day. They had a going away party. He didn't want to cancel on the people coming, and he also didn't want to leave them there by themselves because it was supposed to be a brief interview. Just do the interview, go ride on the submarine, ask the questions, boom, and get back. Also, Peter had asked, it was probably more than this, but he'd ask a few women to ride on the submarine with him. One, he just texts her out of the blue. She hadn't even been in communication with him. Texts her out of the blue, say, do you want to ride on a submarine? She felt the vibes. She's like, no. Another girl he met on the dock one day, he invited her. He was just probably playing it off, but he invited her husband, and her children to go on a submarine. But then texts her the next day and say, actually, I'm just inviting you. Red flag. So now you don't want my husband or my children to come. I guess he's thinking too many bodies, too many witnesses. You messing up my dark pleasure. She said no. I can't remember the other girl that he asked, but he did have a female friend that he mentioned that he mentioned to her that he thought about murder. Of course, when people say this, people don't really believe that. So the best friend didn't say anything till after all of this. But let's get to the nitty gritty real quick, y'all, before I pass out. Like I said, I'm very passionate about this case. This guy is the worst. So 7 o'clock, this is when Kim boards the submarine with Peter Madsen. This is August the 10th, 2017, okay? She's riding around or whatever. They actually capture Kim on film from another boat while she's comfortably riding in the tower with Peter Madsen. She's standing there beside him. I'll show you guys this.
Inventor and engineer. He was rescued from the sinking vessel the next day with no sign of Wall. Madsen said he dropped her off a few hours into the trip. 10 days later, her dismembered torso was found at sea, and the inventor changed his story, saying she died after hitting her head and he'd buried her in the ocean.
All right, how creepy is that? She looks so relaxed. She actually texts her boyfriend, and I quote, "I'm still alive, by the way," unquote. She texted him that before they went down. So like I said, this is 7 o'clock, y'all. Her boyfriend's under the impression that she's going to kind of just be somewhat right back. But I think maybe he didn't want to overreact or look, you know what I'm saying, like he didn't trust her or whatever he might have been thinking. He didn't report her missing until after midnight. So I was just thinking, my boyfriend probably would have turned to a scuba diver that day. He would have been thinking like, oh, this broad gonna try to cheat. She gonna try to go on a submarine and sneak with this dude. I'm about to swim down there and kill both of them. That's just what I'm thinking. But her boyfriend was like very patient. He tried to give him time to get back, but you know, he had to go tend to the guests that they had coming over. And then finally, like I say, notified the police. So they started looking. His submarine didn't have the normal like GPS things that I guess they use to, you know, detect submarines or boats, or kind of like how the planes do. Maybe because it was his, maybe because he turned it off. I don't know. But they didn't see Peter or the submarine until 10 o'clock the next day. So when they see the submarine, they see it's come like above the water a little bit. Peter's looking out so he could see that everybody, he assumed everybody was looking for them, which they were. So he intentionally, what do you call it? Sunk? What's the present word for that? Sinks the submarine. So, of course, he gets rescued. Now, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about what went down in the submarine. I don't need my phone for this. So, none of us will ever really know because there are only two people down there. Peter's idiot, nasty behind, and Kim. And unfortunately, based on this being on a horror story, y'all know Kim is no longer with us. So I want y'all to take just a moment of silence, especially the females. Take a moment of silence to imagine you're just doing your job. You're just being ambitious. You're hitting goals. You want to interview a guy that has a submarine. Boom. You're down there. You're with him. You're asking them questions. So how long did it take you to build a Novelist? That's the name of a submarine. Just think. He's like, yeah, it took me such and such amount of years, blah, 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 blah. And as you asking questions, you can tell just by being a human, the vibe's starting to change. This dude is acting a little weird, and I don't really like the way he's looking. Why is he walking around like that? You know what? I'm kind of just ready to go back to my boyfriend. Oh, I can't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere. And even if this guy is not being weird and it's just a false vibe of mine, I still feel uncomfortable and I don't want to be here anymore, but I cannot go anywhere. I am underwater. No one can hear me scream. My cell phone does not have service. I'm in trouble. Even if Peter wasn't going to do anything crazy like that with me, when I get uncomfortable, I get uncomfortable. So I would have been folded up my notebook. I would have been tense, y'all. I would have been... It just would have been... The rest of the trip just would have been like, boy, if he come within 2 inches of me, I'm telling you, I'm gonna square up with him. But think about it, y'all. Think about it. Let's just say she was like some of us and she got the strap. 50 Cent's voice. What's gonna happen if she defends herself if he tries to attack her? What's gonna happen? You're gonna hurt this man, kill this man. What you gonna do with the submarine? You don't know how to work it. You don't know how to get it back to the top. Y'all know that water is very tricky. It's very strong. It's very dangerous. Let's say she was able to figure out how to open the submarine thing to get out. Well, there's a vacuuming thing that water does when you're deep in it and it starts flooding. It sucks you out. So now I just avoided a madman. I won the battle. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to not drown or get ate by a freaking shark or piranha. Y'all, this situation, not only was it avoidable, but it's just so disturbing to think about her last moments. So we don't know how Kim passed away, but we do know it was at the hands of Peter. He, when he done this little fake thing with the submarine, when he came to the top of the ocean to try to get rescued, and he sunk it deliberately. When they finally rescued him, got him out of the water, he gets out of the water, says something weird like, yeah, I can't believe the Novelist sunk. That makes me sad. Said something weird like that. But you know, the people who rescued him, they're kind of like, they're thinking it's weird that he hasn't said anything about Kim or where she may be. Peter is such a narcissist, guys, that he was thinking he could do this with this woman, have her disappear, get off the boat, and nobody's going to ask about her. So when they finally asked her about him, he didn't even say nothing about her. He said, oh, I dropped her off at the harbor before I even went down on the submarine. So there's a restaurant owner that just so happens to be where he said he dropped her off. The restaurant owner was like, no, we got plenty of CCTV footage around here. Let's run the cameras back. Run the cameras back. Kim ain't nowhere to be found. So here we go with the lies. You're a murderer, a narcissist, and just all-out monster. First he says there's like a heavy, I guess the thing that you close a submarine with is very heavy. Claims that he accidentally hit Kim in the head with that. She died. He panicked. He buried her at sea. And you sound dumb as hell. What else you got for us? Oh yeah, submarine got carbon dioxide poisoning. She passed away. I was up on the deck when this happened, but again, I panicked. I buried her at sea. He changed his story multiple times, y'all, but as he's changing his story and telling his stories, Kim's body parts start to come to shore, okay? And I say body parts, I mean different pieces. It took like 10 days for it to start coming. They already knew what time it was. Whatever had happened to her was at the hands of him. If you have an accident with somebody, or if you have an accident and you hurt somebody, or they got hurt aboard your car or your plane or your submarine, you're going to take it to the top and be like, hey, this lady was interviewing me, but this and this happened. See if we can save her. I don't know if she's gone yet or whatever. You're not going to do all this extra stuff. And they had already figured out that you sunk the submarine intentionally and done this fake rescue mission. So, hate to get into this type of stuff, y'all. It's like so late. As a matter of fact, before I done this story, I walked around my house, checked it, because I'm staying by myself tonight. But her head come to the shore. Her arms and legs come to the shore. Her torso comes to the shore. All of those body parts were attached to like a metal piece. So he tried to call himself weighing her down so her body wouldn't float. It floated. And usually it takes a long time to find these parts, but it floated. People who were like cycling and stuff like that found the body parts. They seen that the metal is like, you know, the same type of metal is on the other pieces. Guys, Peter cut her up, decapitated her. Once they got in court, he says that he poked holes in her torso in order to keep her body gases from making her float. But they could tell that those pokes that he made to her torso were made either right after her death or prior to. So what does that mean? What that means is that he was torturing her. They went through his laptop, in which that same day, August 10th, 2017, he had been watching that dark porn. He watched a decapitation video before he took her out on the water. Probably getting his stuff right, making sure, okay, cut it like this. This is the way I can do it and get that. I can't even begin to really think like that because I'm not a monster. I'm not a criminal in the least. This dude is like despicable. And I just can't help but understand why is it people that seem like they have the most going for them that do the dumbest things. Kim lost her life that day just trying to be a hero. It would have been her last interview or whatever prior to leaving Denmark. And she done it with this crazy fool. Peter is a trip, y'all. Not only Peter changed his story 18 times, never admits to killing her, doesn't admit to dismembering her. When he let her in the ocean, she was all in one piece. Then he come back and say, oh, well, I didn't tell y'all dismember her because I didn't want her parents to grieve harder than they already were going to grieve. Boy, all the stuff you did, and now you worried about her parents. They got to think about how scared their child was being down. I just couldn't even think about it. And shout out to her parents, y'all. When you Google this case, like I said, I kind of got obsessed with it. When you Google this case, you will see her parents out here doing interviews. They've opened up foundations in her name. It's a wonder that they're able to talk so positive. They don't sound drained. They don't sound... And she had the good type of parents, y'all. She didn't have no parents that didn't have a relationship with her or whatever. But her parents are strong people. You can tell that's where she got all of her strength and talents from. Shout out to them. But Peter, his regular ass, tried to escape from prison very quickly after getting locked up. He couldn't take it, y'all. He thought he was so Billy Badass on that submarine, but he's such a narcissist. He didn't contemplate the things that he would have to, the tracks that he would have to cover once he got back to the top. He didn't think or ponder that far. He just wanted to fulfill his sick fetish, and that he done. So guess what, Peter? Now you've got to deal with the consequences. Kim is not coming back. You made her final moments pure hell. And I'm not even this type of person, but I hope you suffer every day. I hope you'll never escape again. I hope they never let you out again. As a matter of fact, I didn't record your sentence, but I did record the fact that you're unhappy with it and you don't feel like that you should be in there for that long. One more thing, y'all. The prosecutor who prosecutes murder cases all the time said this case haunts him. It's so heinous of a case. He's never seen or heard of anything like it. The fact that it was so calculated and carefully planned and thought out. Well, he didn't think what he was going to do after he'd done his deed, but you know what I'm saying. He was just, it wasn't about Kim, y'all. It was about the first and next woman that said that they'd go on that submarine with him alone. I strongly feel that had Kim's boyfriend went on that submarine with them, it was going to slow Peter down a little bit, but it wasn't going to stop him. He would have killed the boyfriend and then proceeded to torture her and finish doing what he was doing. There were even pokes from that same screwdriver that he used, that he claimed that he was just poking her to get rid of bodily gases. there were pokes in her genitalia as well. This guy is disgusting. Gang, we made it through the case. I apologize if I look like a slob or just sound whatever, but like I said, I've been literally up all day. Had a great day, fun day with my dude, but I just didn't want to wait another second to put this case out, and I really been had it on my mind all week. I took a billion notes. I didn't even read them because they're obviously in my head, but I just felt like, I guess, I needed to have it here because I'm so tired. But R.I.P. Kim, you done great things, sweetie. Sorry that you had to meet up with somebody like this fake negative D-list celebrity, Mr. Peter Madsen. Y'all, you gotta like, share, and comment this video. Again, it's not an American case, but it is so freaking important that you don't go places with people you don't know. A submarine is like the worst. I don't even really like going to restaurants or nothing like that with people I don't know or trust. You going somewhere like that where nobody can hear you scream, you can't use your phone, that right there is a no. So y'all like, share, and comment. Tell me what you think about this SOB Peter Madsen. As a matter of fact, usually I take any comments that are constructive. If you got something positive to say about Peter and what he done, just save your comment. Go on to the dark web with that, because I'm pretty sure he's got plenty of fans on there. But quite frankly, all of us normal people find him disgusting. I will see y'all in the next video, gang. Remember, if you have cases that you want to hear me interact or react to, all you got to do is send them to me. I'm not sure if my email is listed on here, but send it to jenny20 at That's JENNY20, JENNY20 at gmail.com. And just let me know the case and that you would like for me to do it. See y'all on the next one, gang.